What's up? What's up? What's up? Hi, it's me again, LaShawn Bridges. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Um, I know you guys heard about the debates last night. I did, and I was not excited about what I saw. Not 1 minute. Was I excited about what happened at the debates? But first of all, I'm going to discuss who was on the debates. What Democratic presidential candidates actually ran on the debates last night. Okay. We had Joe Biden, we had Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand, Marianne Williamson, Michael Bennett, Eric Swalwell, Andrew Yang, and John Hickenlooper. Okay, a couple of them I'm not too familiar with. I heard their names, but so excuse me if I didn't pronounce a couple of them names right, because I'm not familiar with a couple of them. But anyway, moving forward. So, I first of all can have to say that I was not happy with the debates. I did not like the way they did my boy Andrew Yang, and I know many of you out there did not like what you saw either. Um, I don't know what happened. It's like they stole his shine, or something. They didn't ask but a couple of questions to me, and that was so unfair. I feel maybe because they want to familiarize themselves with some of the other presidential candidates that was most popular, such as Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders or maybe Kamala Harris, or maybe they just didn't want him to get his shine on. They wanted to exclude him from discussing his best policies, which I feel he would definitely have discussed. I don't know. Um, did you see the look on Andrew Yang's face? I mean, to me, I felt like he was just stuck himself. Like, what is going on? I know what I would have been, if they didn't call my name and I was, running for president and I was on the debates and I'm just standing there left in the wind looking crazy, so to speak. I would have been upset, So he looked like he was just not really upset, but he was just like, okay, are you guys going to call me or what? Moving forward, though, Senator Kamala Harris, she got her shine on throughout the whole debate. Her name was called to answer questions many of times. She did great in laying out her policies and discussing Donald Trump's tax cut in 2017. And she just rocked the house. She was the center of the attention, center of the stage to me, in my opinion. I especially love listening to, of course, her debate with Joe Biden. You know, I was glad she called him out on the 94 crime bill. I'm like, somebody has to call him out on that. And the busing. I was definitely excited to hear about them. Her calling him out on that. Um, I loved it. And, she jumped in and just, reminding them that she, I definitely liked the fact that she was reminding them, that she was the only black woman candidate on the stage. I was like, okay. USA Today stated Kamala Harris had her big moment, of course, when, Joe Biden on his comments, and she, just stepped right in, and commented him about finding common ground with Senator James Eastland and Herman Tamag, who were Democratic segregationists. She said that his comments were hurtful, and that she notated that Biden, you know, was about opposing busing. She said in a example, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day. She then goes on and says that that little girl was me. Just giving an example, for Biden to see. Biden stared and was stuck with that comment. That was a good one, Kamala Harris. I felt, Of course, Biden denied it, opposed busing. Of course, he denied opposing busing. Instead, he claimed to oppose the federal implementation of that policy and the imposition of it on local communities that don't want it. Okay. Harris argued and stated, according to USA Today, that preferences like that on the part of state and local governments were failures in the countries and guess for racial justice. And that's why the federal government needed to step in. And I agree. Okay. Throughout the debates moving forward, I also liked it when Bernie Sanders was asked about, questions, and he was asked would he raise taxes for the middle class. That was a good question to ask him. He admitted yes to that. He didn't deny raising taxes to the middle class. I don't think the middle class pretty much, agreed with that comment. He might have lost several votes by saying that he would raise minimum taxes to the middle class. Might have lost a lot of votes, Bernie. But oh well. Kamala Harris, back to her, continued on with good points throughout the whole debate to me. She mentioned also the middle class, and she mentioned about working families and how they need to be lifted up. I like her points about how we need to change the tax code and how every family needs to receive a tax credit of up to $500. I like that of her making sure she got her policy um, sort of known. Good job, Kamala Harris. I liked it also when Pete Buttigieg, he stated the South Bend incident and the death of Eric Logan and a black man killed in South Bend by a cop, and how the South Bend cop, he's predominantly white. I mean, we all know that. I'm sorry, South Bend is predominantly white. The city is pretty much 40% black and Hispanic. When asked about the lack of diversity in the South Bend Police Department, Pete Buttigieg, owning up to his responsibility, he said that the case is still under investigation and that this is the reason why he couldn't get anything done yet. So I am, good, glad that he did admit to the fact that, that they couldn't get anything done yet because it was up under investigation. So that was a good thing to mention. So he wasn't, acting like he was trying to hide his responsibility on the call. So that was a good thing to do, Pete Buttigieg. And he might have gotten more voters, for being honest and upfront. Moving forward, John Hickenlooper, another candidate, he asked why he brought up, some good points on providing more police training. This needs to be done to help prevent shootings of black Americans, such as the incident in South Bend. I also liked it when Hickenlooper's idea of health care and about how he wants to make healthcare a right and not a privilege, and how there is an urgency of the Green New idea. I like that idea, and because this is true. So those are some good pointers, Hickenlooper. Okay. Back to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, he took jabs at Trump. That was funny how he took a lot of jabs during the debate. He was, coming at Trump, and he says during the debate, he said Trump is a pathological liar. That was Bernie Sanders and what he said. Bernie also explained how 80% of tax benefits have gone up to 1%. And he also, during the debate, states that he wants to expose Trump for the fraud that he is. Okay, you go, Bernie. I like that. I liked it when they asked if someone is without documents and how they, asked about deportation during the debates. And I remember Representative Eric Swalwell saying no. And Senator Harris also said no, that they should not be deported if someone, lacks documents. So those were their answers. I feel that were very good questions to ask the candidates. And there were questions about health care, throughout the whole debate to me. Several questions. And Joe Biden stated that he wanted to take down any candidate who wants to take away Obamacare. Bernie Sanders, on the other end, stated that health care makes billions off of people and that we should have Medicare for all. I agree with Bernie. I do believe that we should have Medicare for all. Why should we have to pay? America's hurting, and people are hurting, and everybody's not rich. So I think that we should be taken care of as citizens of the United States of America. These are not handouts. This is our citizen right. I feel like we should have the right to have health care and not be about to die or have some really bad problem going on with our bodies and sick and ill and about to die literally because we can't afford to pay medical bills, So that's just my opinion. Moving forward, I liked it when Mary Ann Williamson spoke a lot in the debates. It gave her a little shine. Or at least she tried to jump in there every once in a while when she could. She discussed food policy, environmental policy, and other policies that America needs to have in place. And Joe Biden also discussed this, going after insurance companies when they was talking about healthcare. And he was talking about how a lot of these insurance companies are, should be, they're fraudulent, and how we should keep the Obamacare. I liked it when they asked Senator Harris, what would you do for 1,000 people who tried to reach America? I think that was a good question. And her answer was reinstating DACA for the parents. Good answer. Review cases. Release children from cages, because Donald Trump tells them to go back. That was her answer. Um, when they asked Michael Bennett about health care, I didn't like his answers of finishing, the Obamacare. I didn't like that at all. I believe that we shouldn't finish Obamacare. Obamacare, like I said earlier, it's to me it's too expensive. We should have free healthcare, like I said earlier, not Obamacare. I'm on Obamacare, and Obamacare is ridiculously high, and my husband makes pretty good money. We are not poor, and we're not rich either, so I feel like Obamacare, they should do away with Obamacare. It's not, to me, it's not working. I feel like that we should have free healthcare, and that's not a handout to me. When they discuss education throughout the, this question about that, Mayor Buttigieg said that he doesn't want free college, and that he wants to refinance student loan debt. He only wants free college for low-income families, he states. And like Bernie, he wants to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. But neither one of them are thinking about automation. If they did, they should watch Andrew Yang's video, and they would know that it doesn't make any difference having $15 an hour. All they're going to do is eventually cut hours, so that way they won't be able to pay you for the, for the money for the $15 an hour. So it'd be like you're making $8 or $9 an hour if they cut your hours. So we wouldn't even be able to benefit from the $15 an hour. And if automation kicks in, we won't even have the jobs to see the $15 an hour in the first place. That's just my opinion. But, other people's opinion may be different, but that's just my opinion. Okay? So he needs to watch Andrew Yang's videos, right? But throughout the debate, I was shocked to see Christian Gillibrand. I was like, who is this little blonde haired little girl? She's very spunky, and she's on fire. She worked her way to the top. I think that she, jumped right in there, when it's needed. She answered a lot of good questions on the debate. She was fired up, and she was wanting her voice to be heard, and she did that. So I did like that. I think that just like Kamala Harris, she did not back down throughout the whole debate. She just made sure that her voice was heard, and her opinions and her policies were heard, or what she feels about, other policies. She discussed how she wrote the part of the Medicare for All bill. That was a very important conversation. And she said the Medicare for All bill, it would transition to the healthcare insurance system when the topic was on Medicare. So I did enjoy hearing about that. And she made sure that, of course, that everyone heard her. So that was good, Kristen. Kristen. Guess I'm saying her name right. But all the candidates, to me, on Thursday night, they were very good, very verbal, very opinionated, and they brought it. Some candidates were stronger than others, such as Kristen, such as Bernie Sanders, such as Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, who was very, outspoken. So I think they, for the most part, did a pretty good job. Marianne Williamson, also did a pretty good job. She came and made her voice known on a few occasions, but I think she could have been a little bit more verbal, Marianne. I felt like you was a little still soft-spoken. You did have some good pointers, but I wanted you to come a little bit stronger, so we needed to hear your voice a little bit more. But I did feel that, Andrew Yang, of course, I hate to say they treated my candidate of choice unfair. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. I feel like that he was not able to really express himself on his main policies. He was not, able to give that chance to have his voice heard. He doesn't have experience in politics, and I don't believe that he shied away. I believe that he was just waiting for them to ask him a question. He didn't want to be rude and just jump in there and say a bunch of stuff. But at the same time, Andrew Yang, I feel that if he knew more about politics, then he would know that, you know, you have to jump in there. You have to be verbal sometimes. You have to get your point across to be heard, whether or not people agree or not. That's what I came to realize. I used to be really quiet growing up, and as the years went by, I had to get verbal and I had to be outspoken. And now, um, I'm like a pit bull, you know, in the game. You know, I just look like this, but I get my opinions, and some people don't agree with me, some people don't. But hopefully, we'll hear a lot more of Andrew Yang in the future debates. I'm hoping that he get another chance to really just shine and really, you know, talk about his policies. I really do believe that, you know, he did get a little bit of the UBI, you know, when he discussed it briefly, but I don't feel that they gave him enough time. Of course, it was a timely debate, but I feel like they didn't give him enough questions at all. Like they didn't really just blocked him out of the whole debate, and I was just not excited to see that, you know, because I was just cranked up. Me and my husband both. We were ready to hear what he had to say. We were rooting for him, and we're still rooting for him. So, you know, he still may have a chance to have a comeback and be able to actually, you know, express his opinions about the policies that he has in place for America. Till next time, guys, you know, keep watching me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. Don't forget to hit the like button and the bell at the top right of the corner for further notifications. And see you guys next time. And I will continue to post each week on what I hear different about politics and what's going on. And goodbye.